Our subject this time is subtracting fractions. Let's take an example. Let's say we have 5/8 minus 1/8. Both fractions have the same denominator. They're both the same kind. They're both the same size. Therefore, we can subtract them. 1 from 5 is 4. And so we are left with 4/8. But 4/8, we're not going to leave that answer by itself because that can be simplified. Both numbers can be divided by 4. 4 into 4 gives us 1. 4 into 8 gives us 2. Therefore, the answer is 1/2. Suppose, though, we have two fractions like the following. 5/8 minus 1/4. Just like in adding, in order to subtract these two fractions, they have to have the same denominator. The number in the denominator has to be the same. We have to find a common denominator. And in this case, a multiple of 8 and a multiple of 4, the lowest common denominator is 8. And so we can change the 4 into an 8. And when we change the 4 into an 8, the 1 becomes a 2. 1/4 is the same thing as 2/8. And now we can subtract. They both have the same number in the denominator. 5 minus 2 is 3. And our final answer is 3/8. Can we simplify 3/8? No, 3/8 is already in its simplest form. Another kind of subtraction problem we have in subtracting fractions is when we are subtracting mixed numbers. And a mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. And in this example, let's say we have 3 4/5 minus 1 3/5. Now, the way that I prefer to do these is to write the two in a column. So we have the whole numbers here, one under the other, and the fractions here, one of the other. And so we have a subtraction problem that looks like this, which is the standard way that we've been doing subtraction in arithmetic. 4/5, 3/5, we can subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1, 1/5. 1 from 3 is 2. Can this be simplified? No, it can't. And so our final answer is 2 1/5. Another example, 5 1/8 minus 2 2/3. Again, I write this in column form, and I notice here that my two denominators are they're different numbers, and so I have to find a common denominator for these two fractions. And the common denominator of 8 and 3, the lowest common multiple would be 24. 8 times 3 is 24. And 3 times 8 is 24. Now, to find the number in the numerator, we also multiply by the same number that we multiplied the denominator. Since we did 8 times 3, we do 1 times 3, and this becomes 3. And we did 3 times 8 here, so we do 2 times 8, and this becomes 16. Now we have a little problem. How are we going to subtract 16 from 3? Well, typically in a subtraction problem, you need to regroup or borrow. So we look over here at these whole numbers, and I borrow 1. And so what I have now is 1 3/24. And 1 3/24, we need to convert that into an improper fraction. 1 would be 24/24, and we're going to add 3/24 to that. That's going to give us a total of 27/24. We borrowed 1, so that means we have 1 3/24 here. 1 would be 24/24, and the fraction 3/24. When we combine those two, the 1 and the 3/24, we get 27/24. And now we can subtract the 16 from the 27, and we get 11. And 2 from 4 is 2. Can we simplify 2 and 11/24? No, there's no number that divides evenly into 11 and 24 other than 1. And so this answer is in its simplest form. And that's how we subtract fractions and mixed numbers.